I took the Bucks. And I skip it. The thing is, I found a next-gen stat. When DeAndre Ayton is guarded by someone other than DeAndre Ayton, excuse me, Giannis is guarded by someone other than Ayton, he's shooting 44% against DeAndre Ayton. He's shooting 75% against Crowder, 100% against Bridges, 83% against Booker, 50% against Craig, 100% against Chris Paul, 66% against Cam Johnson. He's shooting 77% against everybody else other than Ayton.
Okay.
So either you build a wall to keep him out of the lane, or as soon as he gets the ball, you better get it up out of his hands, because he's punishing everybody else. And he did a great job on Sunday of getting Ayton in foul trouble. When Ayton is out of the ball game, the Suns are being outscored by 21 points. There it is in a nutshell. But I'm going to take the Bucks. Also, they've only lost one game in which Holiday has scored 20-plus points. Normally, he gets to that number, they win ball games. I think the only game they lost to Atlanta when he scored 20 points. Other than that, they become unbeatable, because Giannis is going to be Giannis, and now he gets other guys to come along with him. Also, Chris Middleton, games 1 and 2, every series, he's been dragging. You look at games 3 through 7, if it goes that long, he shoots 10% higher, average 8 more points a game. Started picking up a little bit in game 3. And normally he really takes off games 4 through 7. Skip, I'm going to take the Bucks. I know it's a 4.5-point spread, but I haven't seen, the Suns haven't shown me. Now, remember, Skip, Giannis averaged damn near 40 against him in the regular season. He's picking right up where he left off. He's 34.5 and 14.5. I don't really know if they can stop him. Now, they've had extra days to put in the wall or the fence or whatever term they want to use to keep Giannis out of that restricted area. He's missed 2 shots inside of 5 feet. 2.
And he made 14 in game 3.
Well, they got their work cut out for him, Skip. Now, they've had extra days to prepare, to come up with a scheme, come up with a plan to try to limit Giannis. Okay, Giannis has shown you he can beat you. I believe Chris Middleton has shown you throughout these playoffs he can beat you with the 23 points, 1 quarter, the 20 point, and the big series that he had against the Nets in games 5, 6, and 7. I don't believe Lopez, I don't believe Tucker, and I don't believe Holiday can score enough to beat you. So if I'm going to send help for Ayton or anybody that's guarding Giannis, it's going to come from one of those 3 guys. But I like the Bucks tonight.
Okay. I have now talked myself back into Phoenix tonight, even though they're a 4.5-point dog, because the harder I look at game 3, everything that could have gone wrong for Phoenix went wrong.
Okay.
And it started with Devin Booker. He was suffering from hamstring tightness coming off game 2 into game 3, and he wasn't quite right. It was plaguing him to some extent. And I told you, I was shocked at how little he could separate early from Middleton. Then Holiday took him. Then Tucker took him in the second half. And he couldn't get his usual separation, elevation, to get the clean jump shots that he usually creates. I think, from what I've been told, that he's doing better, that he's recovered some, and that he'll be closer to Book tonight. And he has a long, well, it's not a long history, but his history in this league, short time that he's been in this league, has been bad game, good game, bad game, really good game, bad game, great game, where he's got the kind of basketball backbone where he says, okay, watch this.
Right.
I'm not going to let that happen again. And the numbers aren't staggering in his bounce-back games, but they're pretty good. He's averaged 24 in bounce-back games, and I expect him to score 25-ish tonight, which is Devin Booker, as opposed to going 3 for 14 and 1 for 7 and scoring 10 points. So 25 will tilt it back a little bit in favor of the Suns.
But we've seen him shoot bad percentages from the 3.
We have in 2 out of the 3 games we have, except he down the stretch of game 2, he was lights out, and he turned Milwaukee's lights out in Phoenix.
He did.
Okay, now we get to the referee situation that I opened the show half kidding about, but this is no joke to me. Scott Foster is a joke to me, because the harder I look at it, the more I think about it, he's just a bad referee. And I don't know why the NBA loves him. You brought up the Donaghy situation, that he was very close to him, and they had hundreds of phone calls back and forth. And I have no idea. The NBA never explained that away.
Right.
It was just facts.
Right.
And Donaghy himself in subsequent interviews has talked about he's just got some issue going with Chris, and the NBA has allowed it to go on.
Right.
So Chris has lost his last 12 games in playoffs, refereed by Scott Foster. It's just wrong, and it was really wrong for Game 3, and you could just see how wrong it was going for Chris because he got off to a pretty good start. Remember, he made his first 3 shots, and he scored 6 points. They were 2-point jump shots in the first quarter, and then he scored 4 in the second quarter. Then he scored 3 in the third quarter because he was losing heart. And I got to show the one call that Scott Foster made in the second quarter. This is when the game was still hanging in the balance. And here we go. Look at this. Look at Giannis run over Jay Crowder. And guess what Scott Foster calls? He calls a foul on Jay Crowder. That's a foul on Jay Crowder? You're kidding me, Scott.
Yeah.
That's a joke. You're a joke. And I hope we don't see you again in the finals. Knowing the NBA, they may be forced. They may be pressured to bring him back for some game just to say, we back our refs. You know, we're not going to let the internet dictate who refs or doesn't ref. So again, they post at 9 Eastern time at 6 here in Los Angeles who the crew is for tonight. It's James Capers is the crew chief, David Guthrie, and Courtney Kirkland. I like Courtney Kirkland a lot. Okay, but the point is, I've told you, Mark Davis and Chris Paul are fairly, they're friendly. They're pretty close. So when Mark is in charge, Chris is really in his comfort zone. I'm not saying he gives calls to Chris, but Chris trusts that he's going to get a real even-handed whistle with Mark Davis. And I'm hoping Mark Davis comes back because he did do Game 6 against the Clippers and Game 1 of the finals. And I'm hoping we see him again for Game maybe 5. But this is a neutral crew for me where there's no Scott Foster, but there's no Mark Davis either. So it's somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to say it's more advantage Suns because they're not going to be haunted by having to see Scott Foster on the floor thinking, we don't have a shot here, which brings me to Ayton. Remember, it was Scott Foster's, mostly his doing, that Ayton got in early, quick foul trouble. And what happened? He played 5 minutes of the second half. So to your point, and all those stats that you read, if your primary defender of Giannis plays 5 minutes of the second half, and they are tentative minutes because he's like on thin ice, like, I don't know, I don't want to get in deeper foul trouble. Again, I thought Monty should have gone back to him and just said, heck with it. Just if you foul out, you foul out, as the game was slipping away in the third quarter, but he tried to save him and it didn't work. So 5 minutes, 2 points you got from DeAndre Ayton in the second half. Well, what if he can last for 40 minutes tonight? What if he gets a fair whistle or he just plays a clean game?
That's the thing, Skip. He's the only big guy you have.
He is it. But your stat says that he's decent against him, right? I'm not going to say he's great. I'm not going to say he's going to shut him down. But he is decent because he's tall and long enough to bother him a little bit.
And he can't just... Giannis is just going to muscle Crowder. He's going to muscle Brick. He's going to muscle everyone else.
He's also just going to loom over them. He can literally go over Jay Crowder's back. And get an offensive rebound by snatching it out of his hands this way.
He went over somebody's back, got an and-one.
Yeah, like Cam Johnson. I love him as a player, but he's just not physical enough to create any havoc in the middle. And who else? Again, Saric was he's 6'10". He's gone.
Skip, we're not saying Saric is Jokic. He's not going to give you anything, but he's a big body.
Just a big body.
You need a 6'10", somebody 6'10" that's got some girth.
He's also Euro crafty, and he knows the angles, and he's tough. He's a tough kid.
He can hit threes. He can bring somebody outside of the paint.
Okay, and that brings me to Mikal Bridges. I don't know what happened to him. I don't call him a role player. He's a starter, but he's kind of a role-playing starter. But look what happened to him. He went from 27 points in Game 2 at home to 4 points with 4 turnovers in Game 3. Well, he just no-showed. I don't think he'll no-show tonight. I think they'll shake it off. They'll be a little more comfortable in a building that they don't know. And listen, there's some fear of the deer going on up there because you got the deer district outside, and that crowd was crazed. And I'm not sure Phoenix was quite ready for the harmonic convergence of all the bad things that contributed to a long, bad night.
True. And you mentioned Mikal Bridges, Skip. They don't need 27, but can he give you 12?
12. And maybe some boards, you know,
Yeah.
6 or 8 rebounds.
I love the way Crowder played. Crowder seemed to have found his rhythm because he was
He was
6
all
or
they
7
had.
from the 3.
That'll work.
CP3, yeah, I guess CP3 got frustrated. Book
did.
just didn't have it. Book didn't have it. And you know what, Skip? He hasn't been as efficient since he broke his nose.
Yeah, that's
so I
true,
don't know
too.
if it's affecting
You can
his
just
breathing.
look at the
I don't-
numbers.
Yeah,
That's true. Yep. I expect him to bounce back. I expect them to bounce back. I expect this to be a knockdown, drag out of a game because clearly the home team was way more physical. They were more aggressive. What's Monty's favorite word? Playing with force.
Force, you're right.
Well, Milwaukee played with
Right.
force. Giannis played with force.
Yes.
They all did. They attacked. Well, I expect them to get attacked back tonight. So I'm going to say it goes to the wire. I'm going to bet you 0 on this because I don't trust it. I just have a feeling that Phoenix, I've thought from the start Phoenix was a little better than Milwaukee. And I think you'll see tonight they're just a little bit better. Here we go.
You better hope so.
Because this is, I'm gonna go do or die for Milwaukee.
It is.
It's
It
do or die.
absolutely is. Skip.
Yeah.
You're not beat. I don't believe. I mean, it's happened before. It's only happened once.
Yep.
But I don't believe if they fall behind 3-1, they can come back and win the next 3 games and beat
just don't
Phoenix.
think
It's
so.
really hard to do.
But if it gets 2-2, now it's the best 2 or 3.
Now we're seeing.
we got a series.
We got a 7-game series.
Yes.
2-2, we're back at the beginning. I'm excited for this one. Can't wait to watch later. But I've got some news for you, Shannon. The Lakers.